Well, as with every other NFL game this weekend, the victims of the elementary school shooting tragedy in Connecticut on everyone's mind here in Nashville as well, and Lisa Salters has more.
Well, so much sorrow and grief in Newtown, Connecticut, Mike. And here tonight, these players in this community of Nashville, they share in that grief. A short time ago, there was a moment of silence here at the stadium in honor of the victims, the 20 little ones, the 6 adults. New York is about an hour and a half south of Newtown. The Jets are wearing decals on their helmets tonight with the initials SHES for Sandy Hook Elementary School. And the Titans' Chris Johnson today hand-wrote the names of all 26 victims on his cleats. He told me, I just wanted those families to know that we're thinking of them. Mike?
As we all are, Lisa, and I know many of you have spent a good part of the weekend and the day as well today watching news, watching TV, watching the accounts of what happened in the aftermath as the funerals have begun, and probably came over here for a respite as you did watching football yesterday. So as the players work, we will do our work mindful of what's really important. Tim Tebow, who very often has put religious phrases, Bible verses on his wristbands or eye black back in college, tweeted out today Psalm 1473. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds, as he and everyone else sends their thoughts to Connecticut. Toss one by Tennessee. They will receive. The kick from Nick Folk, and off we go from Nashville with Darius Reynaud taking from the 3. And Reynaud will be brought down at the 22-yard line. That's where the Tennessee Titans will get the ball in the 8th pick of the draft a couple of years ago. Jake Locker leads out this offense. Johnny's missing Jared Cook, his good tight end, who's done for the rest of the season because of injury.
Missing 4 starters on their line. They've got to communicate. A young center, a young quarterback, a bad combination against the Rex Ryan defense, and they have to take better care of the ball. Locker's turned it over 9 times in his last 3 games, and even Chris Johnson has put it on the floor 5 times this year. That's a priority.
Blue 20. Blue 20, go.
Opening drive from the 22, and Locker taking a shot downfield early. It's incomplete for Kenny Britt, his speedy receiver. So Locker, as John talked about earlier with the injuries, his shoulder injury, it started the first game of the season, and then later on in that opening month of the season. So that patch of football that he missed, it's been hard to get caught up and get back to where they hoped he would be in the middle of year 2.
He's got to be more consistent. He played a great first half last week against the Colts, and he struggled in the second half. He's got to put a 60-minute show together tonight to win.
Go. Blue 20. Blue 20, go.
Second down, second throw, and Locker's complete on the run. Nate Washington to the 37-yard line. And a first down as he's brought down by the safety, Jeremiah Bell.
Oh, we covered it in the pregame. Some of the best plays Chris Johnson makes tonight are going to be blitz pickups. Here's Landry coming off the left side. It's a flush pickup by Johnson, and it's a nice route by Washington in the slot. Good work after the catch, but blitz pickup. The winning edge tonight for the Titans.
Catch 40 on the year for Washington.
Blue 20. Blue 20, go.
Locker adjusts the play. It's the first run for Chris Johnson. Not going anywhere. Bart Scott, his 11th year, battling turf toe all year for the Jets, comes in to make the play. Let's take a peek at this Jets defense. Not the dramatic plays that they've made in the past, John, but really playing well over this last couple of games.
Oh, it's chaos. It's organized chaos. You're going to see multiple fronts, coverages, blitzes, personnel groups, and they must contain Locker at the end of the night. Jake Locker can scramble, and the Jets haven't seen a lot of mobile quarterbacks this season.
After the gain of 1, Locker moving out and throwing on the run to his tight end, Craig Stevens. That's a good open field play by LaRon Landry. The safeties you talked about right at the beginning involved early for the Jets.
Well, the Jets are going to crowd the line of scrimmage. They're confident that they can match up with these Titan receivers. And I know that the Tennessee Titans want to move the launching spot. 3-step drop, 5-step drop, bootleg, as you just saw there from the shotgun. 3rd down and 4. And in the last 2 weeks, Mike, the Jets have held their opponents to 2 for 31. I've never heard of a number like that.
It was Arizona and Jacksonville, 2 offensively challenged teams those weeks, but still the numbers were impressive. 3rd and 4. The Jets bring 4, and Locker's throw in the middle is caught. There goes Nate Washington. Bell saves the touchdown. The gain was 34, first down Tennessee.
They blew the coverage there. They got 11 defenders walking around. You don't know who's coming and who's not. But somebody better get back to the post, because you're going to see Nate Washington go right down the seam and there's nobody there. That's an inexcusable breakdown on a 3rd down and 5 situation on the road to start a game with your playoff hopes on the line.
To officially give him 30 yards as he's marked at the 27. Good opening drive here for the Titans.
Blue 20. Blue 20, go.
Play pass. The mobile Locker. He's knocked down, out of bounds, incomplete. Lavelle Hawkins. Kyle Wilson, the first-round pick from back in 2010, helped the cause. Well, John, we mentioned the offensive adjustments. This is Dow Loggins, who's the offensive coordinator. Chris Palmer was fired, and the 32-year-old Loggins, who was the quarterback coach, is now calling the plays.
Tough on him to make dramatic changes. They brought in Tom Moore to come in, the ex-offensive coordinator of the Indianapolis Colts. They look like the odd couple at practice the other day, Mike.
Blue 20, go.
Johnson left. Yard shy of the first down. The 2 safeties, Landry and Bell, knock him down.
It's been feast or famine with Chris Johnson. You're going to see a little gap scheme off to your left side right here. Watch Chris Johnson come off the double team. He sees a crease and he splits it. But Chris Johnson quietly over 1,000 yards for the 5th straight season. What I love about him the most is his durability and the way this kid plays without the ball. I've seen him pick up 2 blitzes already. And he doesn't have a complimentary back. He's done it all by himself.
3rd and 1. Option look. Johnson read well by Calvin Pace. The Jets were not fooled at all by that, and the fans don't like the 3rd and 1 option call that brings the field goal unit out.
Well, Rex Ryan loves this Bear 46 defense. They cover everybody. And you're going to see an option play flat down the line, and watch Calvin Pace at the left side of your screen, number 97, play this perfectly. Locker's got to take the ball to Pace and force Pace to tackle Locker. I think Jake pitched it way too soon.
Attempt a field goal, but Rob Baronis was late getting his helmet to get on the field. Now the kicker comes out, try to make a 46-yarder with the play clock down to 3. Off in time and got a piece. And it comes up short. Muhammad Wilkerson may have had the push in the middle for the Jets. So 3rd and 1, they lose 10 on the option. Baronis late getting out there. Wilkerson the block. The opening drive turns into nothing. Big play by the Jets' first-round pick from last year, Muhammad Wilkerson. Our aerial coverage here from Nashville tonight is brought to you by DirecTV. Rob Baronis has that field goal blocked. And we mentioned he was looking for his helmet on the sideline. They were rushed in the operation, and the Jets got a great push from the 2nd-year man Wilkerson. So Mark Sanchez and the offense take over at their own 37. And it's a 6-yard Sean Green run to start the offensive night for the Jets. Tony Sperano's their offensive coordinator. This is an offense that has struggled. No Stephen Hill, the wide receiver. No Dustin Keller, the tight end, both injured again tonight.
It's a low-risk offense. They're going to run the ball a lot, high percentage passes, and they use a lot of role players. You'll see Antonio Cromartie play wide receiver. You'll see Lyman at tight end. You might even see Tim Tebow at quarterback.
2nd and 4, and Sanchez will throw. Braylon Edwards through his hands and incomplete. Braylon Edwards just signed by the Jets this week. He was with the Jets and very successful back a couple of years ago. Started this season with Seattle, and there you see his 8 receptions. 5 of them came in the first game. So claimed on waivers Tuesday, battling through a hamstring injury. Here he is on the field for the Jets.
Somebody needs to make a play. I don't care who you are or how you got here. One of these Jet receivers needs to come through quick.
Third and 4, and a Sanchez throw. It's got to be a flag for a tackle and a first down as Jordan Babineau, the safety, was guilty. Jeff Cumberland, the tight end, breaking free.
Prior to pass, holding, number 26, defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Walt Coleman, our referee tonight.
There's no question about the penalty. It's man-to-man coverage. Cumberland's going to run a corner route against number 26, Babineau, and he hooked him clearly. And this Titan football team just can't get it together at home. They have really struggled to play good football in Nashville this year, and I can't figure it out.
They're lucky that they got just the defensive hold in the 5-yard. Should have been pass interference as he was tackled in the secondary. Sean Green to the right. Pinballed a couple of times and then finally knocked down by Cameron Wimbley. So Sean Green's been with the Jets for 4 years. Last year's career best when he became the full-time back, no LaDainian Tomlinson. He had 1,054 yards last year. Got a chance to get close to that again this year.
The only thing Sean doesn't do is make a lot of long runs, but he can wear a defense out. Jacksonville found that out in the fourth quarter last week. Important that the Jets stay ahead in the chains to keep their running game alive all night.
3 receivers for the Jets, and they will run with Green. Defense was ready for it. Jason McCourty and Derek Morgan converged. Bring up this Tennessee defense, John. They've given up the most points per game in the league this year. They're starting to show some signs, though, of improvement.
This athletic team, they've got a lot of athleticism in the front seven. They're young, they're inexperienced. They have to eliminate the big plays. Every film you watch, there are 3 to 4 head-scratching plays that must be eliminated from Titan football. Let's see if they can do that tonight. Critical third down.
Joe McKnight is the back. Titans defense in the nickel. 5 defensive backs. Sanchez throws for the first down. It's Braylon Edwards inside the 35 to the 34-yard line. A gain of 14 for the 9th-year man out of Michigan.
It's all pass protection. The Jets have 3 ex-Pro Bowlers on their offensive line. Just watch Sanchez, the time he has to go through his progression, reset, use his eyes, and find Braylon Edwards, who instinctively sits down against his zone coverage. Nice job by Edwards, sitting down and splitting people after the catch for the first down.
Just showed up this week. He's been thrown to twice in the first 5 plays. There's great comfort with Sanchez and Edwards. Sean Green gains 3 yards. I was down on the field before the game and talked to both of them after they came out, got some throws in. Braylon said the injury wasn't bothering him. It's so bizarre because on Twitter earlier this year, he called the Jets brain trust, quote, idiots. He has apologized for it and said he said it because Mark Sanchez hasn't been given the support he needs. He wanted to defend his friend, his former teammate. Didn't feel like he had the cast around him to succeed. Mike Tannenbaum, the GM, said all's forgiven, understood. They need him because of the Stephen Hill injury. That's why he's here. 2nd and 7, and the Sanchez pass to the tight end, Jeff Cumberland. Yard shy of the first down.
I like what Tony Sperano, the offensive coordinator of the Jets, is doing. They've limited the game plan to a degree. They're calling plays that Mark Sanchez wants in this game plan. And it's paying off. They're running a high-percentage pass offense, concepts that Sanchez likes. And here comes Tim Tebow on a short yardage situation. It's the 69th snap of the year for Tebow. See what the Jets pull off in short yardage.
Tebow, who fractured 2 ribs 4 weeks ago, has been dressed in 3 of the games since, but has not run it. Runs up the middle, and Tebow gets the Jets a first down at the 23-yard line. So Tim Tebow, it has not been a lot of usage this year, excluding the special teams where he's been a personal protector and thrown the ball a couple of times. 46 plays as a quarterback at 18, either as a running back or the wide receiver tight end. He really has as many back page appearances as he's had snaps thus far this year, but that's what he was here for, and that's effective use on 3rd and short. Sanchez back in, first down, first drive for the Jets. And once throws incomplete, good job to break it up by flag. Not a good job, according to the officials, as Alteron Werner thought he had a hand in clean.
Pass interference, number 20, defense. Ball will be placed on the spot of the foul. First down.
Wow. It's a bunch formation. You're going to see Edwards on the left side of your screen come out of the bunch, burst, turn, and you be the judge at home. I wouldn't call it. We're getting a lot of touch fouls being called in pro football, Mike, on these pass interference plays. I'd like to see him let these guys play.
That brings the Jets into the red zone. And they go with the extra offensive lineman, Jason Smith. And the run to the left, Bilal Powell. Flagged down as Babineau was grabbing on him, but multiple flags come in for the face mask. Second time the safety's been caught tonight.
Personal foul. Grasping the face mask, number 26. Defense. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
3 fouls, all in the Tennessee secondary in this opening drive.
It's a painful drive to watch. That's a second penalty, as you pointed out, on Babineau. They've had a PI here on Werner. Couple third downs converted. But the Tennessee Titan defense can't get it together at home. They've given up over 30 points a game here in Nashville. They've been outscored 131-65. And that problem continues.
First and goal for the Jets, and Bilal Powell gains a couple of yards. Just talk importance of getting off to a good start. This is a Jets team that, although they've won the last 2 games, they haven't scored in the first half.
Well, it's because they're not very good in the red zone, Mike.
That's exactly
and that finish line, a lot of people call it the scoring zone, the red zone, the green zone. I call it the finish line. And for the Jets, the finish line is 4 yards away. Sanchez has thrown 4 interceptions in the red zone. They need to put this ball across the goal line and finish a drive. Edwards at the top of the screen. If they get single coverage, that's been Sanchez's favorite target.
He sent Marty Gilliard, the other receiver, over that way. See if Sanchez goes to Edwards. Going to go to the opposite side. Incomplete. Jeremy Curley still looking for the ball as it's past him, and we'll have 3rd and goal.
Tough place to throw the ball. Jake Locker has struggled to throw it in the red zone. Mark Sanchez has struggled to throw it in the red zone. Take a look at the pattern. Curley's in the slot. He breaks quickly to the outside. Gates broke underneath, and I didn't like the look of that route. Critical for the Titans and this home crowd that they get off the field without allowing 7 points here.
Marty Gilliard's the isolated receiver to the top. 3 options to the right. And Sanchez throws. It is caught for the touchdown by Jeff Cumberland. Alteron Werner's begging that it hit the ground, but since it's ruled a scoring play on the field, they'll automatically look at it upstairs. Let's take a peek.
It's the shallow cross. Cumberland comes from right to left. Ball's thrown low and outside. Take a look at that from another angle.
Yep. Watch it here as it goes down. Slips out of his hands a little bit. Right there. No?
That's incomplete.
You see his hands slide on the ball, and the inability to maintain complete control will undoubtedly be what Walt Coleman will look at and replay. They buzz from upstairs as the review happens.
The previous play will be reviewed.
Walt, come over and take a look at it with 4:22 to go. It says touchdown for now, but we don't think so. Jets offensive brain trust is huddling. They put up a touchdown call on the field. Replay look for Walt Coleman. We didn't think he was in.
After reviewing the play, the ball hit the ground. The incomplete pass will be 4th and goal.
Jerry Austin, our referee in the booth.
As you can see, he's got the ball, but he goes to the ground. The ball turns, and his hands stay in the same position. The ball's loose, touches the ground. He pulls it back up. Incomplete pass is a correct call.
Thank you, sir. Man who was twice the referee in the Super Bowl. The explanation on why it's the 6 off the board. And we'll get a field goal attempt from Nick Folk. Folks missed 5 this year. It's a short one, 22 yards. And with the punter, Robert Malone holding. First points of the night belong to the Jets. 3 first downs on penalties in that drive, leading to the 3-0 lead. The NFL celebrating 50 years of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Visit ProFootballHof.com for more details and the Hall of Famers from this franchise's history. From the Houston days, Ken Houston. The Houston Oilers, of course, became the Tennessee Titans. Elvin Bethea, a great defensive lineman. Warren Moon, quarterback of those Houston days, and the Astrodome especially. And then two Hall of Famers are on this staff currently. Bruce Matthews is the offensive line coach. And, of course, Mike Munchak, the head coach. Still a part of this franchise. Darius Reynaud with the kickoff return out of the end zone. And brought down by Ellis Langster up high, shy of the 20-yard line. You mentioned Mike Munchak, the only active head coach who's enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, a terrific offensive lineman and line coach. But the offensive line has been an issue for this team. Bruce Matthews, who coaches that group, now has his son as one of the starters up front on this team. Kevin Matthews, the starting center. And one start last year. This is his second start of the season.
380. Go. Move 20. Move 20, go.
He snaps it to Jake Locker at the 19. And Chris Johnson behind that offensive line, able to get 2 yards. And John, when the season started, this was the plan. Pretty good offensive line, but Eugene Amano in the middle was hurt. And as the year has gone on, especially over the last few weeks, Hutchinson, Harris, and Stewart are down. So the last man still playing is Mike Bruce, the left tackle.
Yeah, this just ripped the heart right out of this Tennessee football team. The strength of the Titans was their offensive line. Obviously, they're in shambles right now.
2nd and 8, and Johnson seeking space. Accelerates through the hole and just a yard shy of the first down at the 28.
Draw play. You hear Jake Locker doing a lot with his snap count. Watch Chris Johnson just pop over to his right, accept this draw handoff, pick up a block, find a second level. And again, a 3rd down is short situation. This is where Rex Ryan likes to play the 46 defense. The last time in a short yardage situation, they ran a speed option. Here it is, the Bear defense.
3rd and 1, and they'll give up the middle to the fullback, Quinn Johnson. Only his 2nd carry. Johnson kept fighting, and it'll be dependent on the forward progress spot.
When you have a beat-up offensive line, let's cover everybody with this Bear defense and bring heat on the outside. Make them single block us. Take a look at big number 93 on the nose tackle, Kenrick Ellis. Hard guy to move, and I think this is going to be short, Mike.
You'll see Ellis going back. It is Kevin Matthews, the center, who we talked about earlier, who is down and shaken up. So already all the problems they have at center, and now the son of the Hall of Famer, Bruce Matthews, is injured. Matthews talking to his dad, the Hall of Famer, Bruce Matthews, as he got rolled up on in the pile. But John, it's another change at center. For Jake Locker, Fernando Velasco, the guard, will slide back to the center spot he played earlier this year. Locker taking off. Not fond of sliding, likes to get every yard possible. You got 15 of them there at a first down.
Well, when you cover everybody up, Mike, and play man-to-man, there's a chance you can get out of contain. Watch number 52, David Harris, the effort play that he makes. It's an excellent job by Locker, but an outstanding second effort play by David Harris, who leads this Jet defense in tackles. It seems he does every year. But clearly Rex Ryan's coming after Locker early in the football game.
First down for the 44, and it's Johnson coming to the right, and he's brought down by Calvin Pace. A limited gain on the play. John, it's been a season with injuries early on with Locker. Let's go back right to the start in week 1.
Well, he threw an interception. Play was ruled down, but Locker makes the tackle, separates his left shoulder. And it's hard to practice when you have a separation in your left shoulder. And shortly after that, he didn't see a blitz coming from Glover Quinn, and he's out for over a month. And it's derailed his development, especially when he scrambles, Mike. He's got to learn to get down and protect himself, and the Jets are on top of that.
So 2nd and 10 for Locker. And out of the backfield, Quinn Johnson with the catch, but minimal gain as Jeremiah Bell was waiting for it. I want to correct something. I thought Velasco would immediately become the center, which he was all year. They put Kyle Devan in at center.
The Jets love to blitz. They love these exchange zone blitzes. They're going to bring inside and outside linebackers. They're going to drop defenders on the opposite side of the formation. They force you to throw the ball hot into a zone defense, and they laugh at you as you make a lot of no gains. And this is not where you want to be. 3rd and long against the Jets.
This is where they give you the exotic pressures here. This time they bring 5, and Locker throws underneath. Nate Washington catch, but brought down. Kyle Wilson, good open field tackle. Ends the first quarter, and after 1, the Jets lead 3-0 on Monday Night Football. Mike and John back here in Nashville. 3-0 Jets after 1. You know, John, both of these teams are looking at the future, and these are the guys who will likely be the quarterbacks short and medium term here. The question now is, how do you get them ready? Because it is so important that they develop on both sides.
I remember a coach telling me one day that the most important person in the organization is not the head coach, not the general manager, it's the young quarterback. And I remember us rallying around Brett Favre. Everything we did was to make Brett Favre successful. And that's the key, that Sanchez and obviously Locker get the support of their entire organization. That's the only way you get the best out of them.
To the brain trust around Jake Locker as they come off the field from that last series. Brett Kern with the punt. It's fair caught by Jeremy Curley. And the Jets are going to take over at their own 14-yard line. Mark Sanchez coming on the field now.
There's been a lot of change. I mean, I'm not saying that this offense doesn't fit Mark Sanchez, but every time you look on the Jets sideline, it looks like they're solving some calculus problem. There's some confusion or there's something that needs to be explained. It's a work in progress. Tebow has his own package. Sanchez is learning a new offense. There's been receivers in and out of here. It's been a painful year for this Jet offense. Let's see if they can continue to move the football and score when they get into the red zone.
It's their second drive. They go Wildcat here with Sean Green on the first carry, and Green gets the 24-yard line, so a first down run.
And Tony Sperano brings back the old Wildcat. He ran this in Miami with Ronnie Brown. Sanchez motions out to his right. Sean Green gets the snap, and they run their midline stretch zone play to the right side where they like to run behind Brandon Moore. They like to run right behind their former Pro Bowl right guard, who can still get it done with the best of them.
5-9, 5-9. Yellow 80. Yellow 80. Up. Kill. 5-9, blue 10. Blue 10.
Quick jump across the line of scrimmage by Derek Marks. The snap did not happen. After Marks jumped into the neutral zone.
Encroachment, 94, defense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Well, Marks, a very active inside one-gap defensive tackle, the former second-rounder out of Auburn. They've got 4 good athletic inside people. They look like clones. They're all 6'1", 300 pounds. Casey on one side, Marks on the other. When you're in a one-gap defense, you're asked to penetrate, get off on the ball. That time he was a little early.
So it's 1st and 5 for the Jets. And there's that penetration, but Green able to run away from it. And about 3 yards. Jarrell Casey that time got into the backfield quickly.
It's important for this Titan defense that they get the Jets behind in the chains. If you commit penalties on first down and give the Jets these 2nd and 4s and 2nd and 3s, they're going to continue to pound the ball at you, and they're going to create some high percentage opportunities in the passing game. But they need to reject the Jets' run game on first down. So far, they haven't been able to do it.
Sanchez 2nd and 3, setting up the screen for Green. It was read and snuffed out by Zach Brown. 2nd-round pick this past draft out of North Carolina.
This is an interesting prospect. This is the former ACC, I think, University of North Carolina 60-meter champion. Watch him blur the screen. This kid went to the combine 4.37 in the 40, his 10 times, his 20 times. All the scouts are looking at each other. The question was, will Brown hit you? He just hit you right there. Nice play by the rookie.
Gets the Jets to 3rd and 6. Empty backfield, 4 receivers right, and the pass is caught by Bilal Powell and marked to the first down. In front of Jason McCoy, John.
Excuse me, Mike. I like the fact that Powell is involved in the passing game. These Jet running backs have combined for only 23 catches, and it's something they really miss when they lost LaDainian Tomlinson as a back that can go out there in these empty formations and make a catch. But that's a great throw by Mark Sanchez and a big first down.
The first down, quick count. Powell spins out of a tackle and able to save it and gain a yard.
Hakeem Ayers. Quick count that time by the Jets. This is a very athletic front seven. You're going to see Ayers 56. Get lined up quickly, shoot a gap, make a play in the backfield. But Ayers can play on his feet as an inside linebacker. He's also, I think, their best pass rusher when he puts his hand down in nickel.
Called out Brown before. They're missing Colin McCarthy, their starting linebacker. Missing his 7th game of the season. Sanchez throws. It is caught at the 40-yard line, so be shy of the first down. And Conrad Ruland, former lacrosse player at Notre Dame, then went to Stanford with the reception.
Blitz. They had a free defender in Sanchez's face, and that's a great throw by Mark under intense fire. Finding Ruland. I bet he's throwing the ball to tight ends he never thought he was going to throw to when the season started. They even got a guy that played Australian rules football, Mike, from Metropolitan State. We'll see later.
Hayden Smith. Now you didn't scout him coming into the draft, did you? You haven't gone to Australia just yet? This is 3rd and 5. Sanchez stepping up. Step into the waiting arms of Cameron Wembley. It'll force the Jets to punt.
Jerry Gray, the defensive coordinator, continues to blitz. That time it's a free safety blitz off Sanchez's left side. You're going to see number 33 come off the open side, Michael Griffin. Sanchez steps up in the pocket to avoid the sack, but the Tennessee Titans hustle to the football, and it's up for trickery at all times with Tebow.
Tebow is the personal protector. Robert Malone kicking it away. Darius Reynaud runs away, and the ball checks back. Is down by Nick Ballore at the 5. So good job by Robert Malone. 53-yard punt, and it was all net. Well, next Monday's Christmas Eve, so our last Monday night game of the year will be Saturday night. Countdown at 7. We're on at 8:30 from downtown Detroit. Calvin Johnson and the Lions will take on Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons. If the Falcons win, they are the #1 seed in the NFC playoffs. There's Johnson to carry and no game. So it was Saturday night, 8:30 Eastern. We'll see the Falcons take on the Lions.
Muhammad Wilkerson, a second-year defensive lineman for the Jets, one of the most improving interior players I've seen this year. He's an outstanding run defender. He can pass rush in their sub package. They liken him to a young Richard Seymour, who had some great years in this league with the Patriots. Still the Raiders.
After the gain of 1, Johnson running left again, and the man who's had long touchdowns in his career could have another one. There goes Johnson, and they won't catch him. Touchdown, 94 yards.
Nobody hits the home run like Chris Johnson. If you make a mistake in a gap, forget about it. Jets jump into their bear defense. They don't account for all the proper gaps, and watch Chris Johnson come out of the trash, find a lane, and hit this crease. That's the last place Jeremiah Bell wanted to be, in a foot race with Chris Johnson. I don't know how many 80-plus yard touchdowns I've seen this man make But I've seen more than most backs.
That is a franchise record run. Johnson was one of the 2 players in the Oilers then Titans history who had a 91-yard run. His 91 was against the Houston Texans in 2009. That one 94 yards. Baronis adds the extra point. Out of nowhere, the man who's taking those long runs on a regular basis, Chris Johnson. 94 for score. In Music City, Nashville. Such great music coming out of almost every storefront and door on a weekend night. Chris Johnson is giving a familiar noise, a big resounding cheer here at LP Field with that 94-yard touchdown run. And a 2,000-yard season. Went for 2006 back in 2009. Joe McKnight will take a knee. Driver start at the 20. As we told you at the beginning of the game, Chris Johnson wanted to honor the victims and have them in his mind in the tragedy in Connecticut. And those were the shoes that carried him those 94 yards for the touchdown. Chris Johnson, 94-yard touchdown run, his 6th of 80 or more yards, an NFL record, his 7th over 75, 28.3 per touchdown run, highest in NFL history. Jets start with Tebow at quarterback. His handoff on the read, it's Joe McKnight off the edge, and he'll gain a first down out to the 31-yard line to the second snap with Tebow in at quarterback.
Ribs are feeling better. Looks like Tebow's going to stay in the game. Jet sweep. You see some of these plays that Tebow runs with the Jets are the plays he ran when he was a collegiate. Hasn't done much throwing the football this year, and most of those completions are at or behind the line of scrimmage. I'd like to see Tebow throw a few, Mike.
Time he'll keep. And Tebow gets the edge and has a first down. So the missing little something that we thought we'd see throughout the year, we're seeing here tonight.
Hey, Robert Griffin's running this package. They got tight ends all over the place. They're going to read the open side defensive end. If he closes, I'll keep it. They bring Ruland across the formation. I think some of these option plays work extremely well against this 4-3 defense that the Titans run. Tebow still in there.
Noise level rising as Tebow takes a 3rd consecutive snap. This time he'll keep it. They'll catch him from the back end of it. That speed that John talked about of Zach Brown limiting the game. So we asked Rex Ryan last night, because you go back to earlier this week, and Rex said, yeah, Tim's looking better, but he's not ready to be part of the offense. And then the tune changed as he saw him during the week, or maybe they were playing possum. In any case, Tebow seeing this action really for the first time in a month.
Watch these Titans communicate with Tebow at quarterback. They haven't been respecting the pass very much.
Here comes pressure, and Tebow cannot get out of it. 3rd play by Zach Brown in this first half.
Gonna blitz him. They're treating Tebow like he's a wildcat running back. And they're saying, you don't know any audibles, we're going to blitz you. They come right off the left side. Nobody accounts for Tennessee Titans, and Tim Tebow has nowhere to go with the football. The number 55, Zach Brown, can fly. Good effort by Senderick Marks.
And, John, you go back through the year, 5 consecutive snaps of Tim Tebow quarterback. We're maxing out here for what we've seen from the Jets with this Tebow package.
They're going to dare Tebow to throw the ball, and they're going to blitz him again.
Play clock ran out. Play clock ran out, and it'll be 3rd and 16. Is this where you look at Sanchez and say, go get 3rd and 16?
Offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
I have no idea what they're doing with this sequence of plays. Obviously, the Titans are automaticing to a blitz every time Tebow's in the game. The Jets don't have an answer for it, and they can't get the plays called in time for him to call a play, and now it's 3rd and 16.
Tebow. Flush. All kinds of trouble. Got away from Marks. Fires it out of bounds and incomplete. And after a couple of early successes, Tennessee's defense with a great reaction.
Well, this is not what Tim Tebow is comfortable doing. I'm shocked that they left Tebow in the football game. There's a no-back set. The ball's going to be snapped, and it's just going to be a run-for-your-life play. 5 receivers run vertical, and this play was doomed from the very beginning, but hard to explain what they wanted to get done with that series.
Twisting punt by Malone. Renaud tells everybody to get away. It will be a 46-yard punt, and the Titans will take over the 17. So those of you waiting for Tebow time, there it was. 7-3 Tennessee. So Tim Tebow gets an extended entire drive, and you see the 3rd and long. We know the headlines were back when he arrived in March and all the buzz and the excitement. But John, when you go back to the flirtation with Peyton Manning by the Jets, then giving Mark Sanchez the contract extension, bringing in Tim Tebow, this was mismanaged throughout and has snowballed and eroded the confidence of one quarterback. And Tebow has been a conversation, but not a lot on the field. And we see finally, as he's healthy, a little bit of a drive, but not much out of it for the Jets.
I'm not sure what they wanted to accomplish here. Sanchez moved the team this first 2 possessions, and they have good field position. That was a mystery to me. I'm just not quite sure what they want to accomplish with Tim Tebow as a quarterback in this offense, but clearly they're confused, I'm confused, and I think a lot of people at home are as well.
It's a Jets team that, if they lose tonight, they're eliminated. And on the last play, their defense gave up a 94-yard run by Chris Johnson. The 17, Locker taking the shot downfield toward Kenny Britt. Double covered. Cromartie along with Laron Landry. And everybody gets up on that sideline. Hopefully okay.
Cromartie's key for the Jets. Rare length, 6'2" corner you don't see very often. It's his 2nd time he's manhandled Kenny Britt tonight. He get help from Landry over the top, but here's a guy that's really picked up his game. Since Revis went down with the injury, he took the challenge personally. He's practicing better. He's more prepared. He's a better leader, and he's a much better all-around corner.
Johnson the run. There's Johnson hit hard by Landry, who comes up with those huge hits. A couple yards shy of the first down, but there is a penalty marker back in the backfield.
Holding, number 72, offense. Half the distance to the goal, still 2nd down.
That's Deuce Latui with Arizona for 6 years of his career.
And Kyle DeVan at center right now is the 4th different center that the Titans have used this year. He's done a nice job in there, threw a critical block on Chris Johnson's long touchdown run. But this offensive line, not many starts in these uniforms. This unit has very little playing experience. Fortunately, they have one of the best line coaches in football. Matthews could probably strap it on and go out there and help these guys before it's all over.
DeVan playing in just his 2nd game as he was added to this roster late in the season. Penetration by Garrett McIntyre, forcing that loss of yardage for Chris Johnson. Nice whistle for about 7 yards away from the ball, as you see. Pushing and shoving Bart Scott in the middle of it with DeVan.
Garrett McIntyre filling in for Brian Thomas. Interesting story. McIntyre out of football, played arena ball, played Canadian football, hung in there, found a way to make this Jet roster. And if you watch enough Jet defensive copy, he's one of their better pass rushers, a very productive player.
Chris Johnson had a helmet issue. It's 3rd and long. Johnson's not on the field here. And from his own end zone, Locker taking off and gets out to the 15-yard line. And they'll punt it away.
An important possession that time by the Jet defense. Penalties will hurt you big time when you're backed up in your own part of the field. That time the holding call on Latui puts the Titans behind in the down and distance. Let's see if Jeremy Curley can give their return game some pop. They need it.
Those great college return numbers. Touchdown against the Bills earlier this year. Brett Kern's kick is high, so Curley has to make a fair catch. 45-yard punt, no return. 26 fair catches for Curley, as many as anyone in the NFL this year. Well, for the tournament in the AFC, 4 of the 6 are in. Houston, Denver, New England, and Baltimore. Now the Colts and the Bengals in the pole position for the wild card chase. The Jets are trying to tie the Steelers at 7-7. Get within a game of that Bengals spot at number 6. The Bengals and Steelers play this week. Mark Sanchez back in the game. Didn't play at all the last series. But from the 40, he throws sideline, and it is. If he's inbounds, it's a pick, and it is by Jason McCourty. The officials on that side talking about it, making sure they have him inbounds, and they confer and confirm on the field interception. It's a turnover, so it's automatically reviewed upstairs.
McCourty can play. I think that decision by Mark to throw that ball late.
The previous play will be reviewed.
Is going to be one that he regrets.
It's kind of odd when you look at the sideline there. It's hard to tell where the sideline exactly was there. There you get a look. It's out. We'll check. All right, this will be an interception. They resodded the grass area around the benches, and that's why it looks a bit discolored along the sideline. But here's Walt Coleman with the call.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. We have an interception, both feet down, first down for Tennessee.
You see where that grass changes color. That's just resodded that entire bench area, which gets chewed up with all the players standing and traipsing around. So it's a pick thrown by Sanchez. And now John Tennessee takes over at its own 48. And Johnson will go forward for 3 yards.
You see Mark Sanchez again with the Jet quarterbacks, Coach Sperano. Curley never got McCourty out of his back pedal. The ball can't be thrown under any circumstances, and I'm sure Coach is telling Mark, you force that one in there, throw it away, live for another day.
Jason.
Tennessee's due to take a shot here, Mike, in this field position.
So Jason's twin Devin McCourty last week. He's also intercepted Sanchez in his career. This one's behind the tight end Craig Stevens, and incomplete.
A lot of people have questioned Jake Locker's accuracy. I thought that time he could have stepped up and thrown this square into Stevens. Now Stevens is filling in for Jared Cook. Ball got tipped slightly by Wilkerson. That explains it. But the Titans are struggling at tight end. They lost Jared Cook, their go-to receiving tight end, and Stevens is a blocking tight end that they're trying to use as a receiver in some key situations. Nice play by Wilkerson.
And as you know, the deflection there would erase any pass interference. You're allowed to hit the receiver after the pass has been deflected. 3rd and 7, Locker. It's to the sideline. And it'll bring up 4th down. It was Calvin Pace showing him over to his bench.
I like the progress that young Quentin Coples has made as well. That time, Coples shows good pursuit. Another North Carolina Tar Heel finding his niche in the National Football League, but that's an impressive 3-and-out stop by the Jet defense and this Titan offense. Only 17 first downs a game, and they just can't generate any time of possession.
Brett Kern kicking again. And Curley takes the lead in fair catches. The ESPN family of networks, and it's capped off on Monday, January 7th. The game for it all, the Discover BCS National Championship game. #1 Notre Dame, #2 Alabama. Coverage all week long, and then on that night, Monday, January 7th, 8 Eastern, it begins, and then Brent Musburger and Kirk Herbstreit will bring you the title game from South Florida.
Tennessee Titans have all 3 timeouts left. Don't be surprised if they use one, if they can get a quick stop.
Got movement, and that'll push them back halfway to the goal.
Full start, 87, offense. At the distance to the goal, still first down.
Conrad Ruland. The Jet team only 4 penalties the last 2 weeks. But a crucial one there will bring the crowd into it. 2.5 left in the half.
And it's critical that the Jets knock this ball off their own goal line. Do not give it back to Tennessee with time to spare at the end of the half.
Count Sanchez to run to about the 6-yard line. As Sean Green takes it, gets some of the penalty yards back. That's what you talked about, John. Tennessee taking that timeout on this side of the 2-minute warning. Mike Munchak calls it with 2:29. The Jets wins the last 2 weeks. They're 7-6 over Arizona, 17-10 over Jacksonville. Sanchez trying to get Hurley into the right spot. He's got to get everybody moving here. And the second time Marks has jumped.
Approach, number 94, defense. 5-yard penalty, still connected.
That'll really upset you if you're a head coach. And they're pulling Marks out of the game. 4-9 football teams do 4-9 things. And Derek Marks is going to get an earful on the Titans sideline.
Second and 5, and it's a run with Green to the 15. And looking over to the sideline toward Mike Munchak, who was thinking about taking another timeout. But they're going to let it run down to the 2-minute warning here.
Nice play by young Mike Martin, a rookie out of Michigan. Rushing the passer, reading out of his pass rush, retracing, making a tackle. Big third down as we come back here after the 2-minute.
Jets limited to just 90 yards thus far tonight. A 94-yard score by Chris Johnson, the only TD of the first half. 7-3 Tennessee. At the 2-minute warning, we come out with 3rd and 2. Jets backed up at their own 15. Options to the right. Sanchez, nobody was open, takes off with a flag down. He's down shy of the first down.
Holding. Jets.
Coleman telling Mike Munchak it's 4th down if you decline it.
Holding, number 77, offense. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
And Austin Howard struggles continue at right tackle, but that time the Jets motion to a bunch formation. They're going to look for Curley in the flat, and there's nobody there. The Titans do a great job zoning this off. Witherspoon fights through traffic. Sanchez is short of the first down. That's a big stop by the Titans defense.
And a great advantage there. They ran the ball, but with the penalty, the clock stops, even though it was declined. So Tennessee a chance to get good field position. Darius Reynaud from the 42. His own man coming back to block, and the tackle made by the Jets' Ellis Langster. 42-yard kick. Toyota halftime show coming up. We'll listen in some of the Falcons getting their huge win over the Giants yesterday. Adrian Peterson, MVP, comeback player of the year. What a season he's having. And we'll start to set the table for Christmas Day. And Kevin Durant talking about LeBron James as the Heat and the Thunder. It'll be one of our feature NBA games Christmas Day on ABC.
And Rex Ryan, a very proactive blitz coach in the 2-minute drill. Titans got to be careful. They don't pass protect very well.
1:42 and a couple of timeouts with Jake Locker. The second-year QB finds his rookie receiver, Kendall Wright, to the 46. He caught RG3's passes from Baylor last year and caught a finger in the eye. He's shaken up.
Quick game.
Mike, go.
45 protected well, but coverage downfield allows McIntyre to come in. That's Garrett's 3rd sack of the season.
That's a bad mistake by Jake Locker. Clock's got to go off in your head. You must throw the ball away in this field position. Bad mistake.
The 9th start for Jake Locker. You see some of those 9th start mistakes. They're taking a sack in the 2-minute. Loss of 10 makes it 2nd and 20. Jets bringing 5, and Locker's throw is caught, and getting out of bounds is the rookie Michael Preston out of Heidelberg in Ohio.
Heidelberg. I know a guy from Heidelberg. Hey, my dad went to Heidelberg, and my mom went there. How about Mike Preston representing the Student Princes?
The what?
The Heidelberg Student Princes, don't you know?
That's his nickname?
Tiffin, Ohio. They're the Student Princes. Preston will tell you.
Put up.
Yeah, that school is in Tiffin, Ohio, D3 school, and Nate Washington went to Tiffin as well. Different school, same city. Same small city of about 27,000. Locker throwing on the run. Bad throw, and lucky that it wasn't a LaRon Landry pick as he tried to get it back to the former Student Prince, Preston.
Well, it's 4 to a side, and Rex Ryan overloads the Titan protection to the field. You're going to see Jets coming from the wide side of the field. Locker's going to scramble out to his right. I thought Lankster got away with a little grab on Preston there, but the sack that Jake Locker took, critical error in the 2-minute drill. Got to throw the ball away.
And you see Tom Moore, such a familiar face. All the Indianapolis Colts games you watched over the years. He's been here the last couple of weeks helping Tennessee's offense. Touchback. It'll be just a net of 25, and the Jets will take over at their own 20. How about it, Johnny? Tom Moore had his knees replaced, feeling good. Brought in as a consultant a few weeks ago after they fired Chris Palmer, and he's helping the young Dow Loggins, new offensive coordinator.
Great coach, and you got to credit Mike Munchak and Dow Loggins for putting their egos aside and bringing in an expert like Tom Moore, who can not only help a young quarterback, but he can help a young offensive coordinator. They like Loggins here in Nashville. And to get a different perspective from a guy who's been around like Tom Moore has, I really credit Mike Munchak.
And Tom got those knees replaced. He's feeling good. He wants to coach again. He said, I'd like to be a coordinator. Energy's back, feeling good. He wants back in the fray next year. Not here, but somewhere. Pass behind the tight end Cumberland, and incomplete, and that was one deflection away from 6 the other way.
Everything just looks too hard to me in this pass offense. There's going to be a blitz, and your hot receiver is the tight end. He's got to look for the ball, and the ball's got to be thrown at that front side digit. Ball's thrown a little bit behind him. Hot, hard, low. Tip balls in the middle of the field are normally not good, but everything just looks painful in this Jet pass offense.
And it's a run at Sean Green, or Bilal Powell, excuse me, to the 35-yard line. The Jets are going to take a timeout with 39 seconds left. So good run by Powell, second-year man out of Louisville. Well, you talk about what's gone on around Sanchez. There are a lot of injuries this year. There's been a lot of change as well. Let's document some of that change with Sanchez. In the backfield, Thomas Jones, LaDainian Tomlinson, Sean Green the last 2 years. The receivers, Cotchery, Edwards, Holmes, who's back, but he's hurt. Dustin Keller's been out this year. And then the changes with the offensive line coach, Bill Callahan, Schottenheimer, the coordinator, now Tony Sperano. It's a very changing cast and no stability to try to build around Sanchez.
That's hard. I really feel continuity is the key to becoming great. At least the places I've been. I look at Tom Brady and I look at Peyton Manning. He's doing it in Denver, but he's still in the same system that he's run his entire career. But when you change offenses and change personnel as drastic as the Jets have, it'll stunt anybody's development.
And on top of that, all the injuries this year. From the 35, low snap. Sanchez has it, and they have him. Loss of 8, Derek Morgan out of Georgia Tech, first-round pick a couple of years ago.
Oh, they blitz, they play man-to-man coverage. There's nobody open. Take a look at it. Where do you want Sanchez to throw the ball? The blitz is on. It's man-to-man coverage. And I just don't see any separation, and the pocket isn't clean. The Jet offensive line is highly decorated as they are, Mike. They've given up 32 sacks. So pass protection hasn't been a strong suit either. But every time they pass, you got to hold your breath if you're a Jet fan.
Previous 2 weeks, the Jets trailed 3-0 at the end of the half and won both games. Tonight they have a field goal and trail 7-3 after 30 minutes. They get the ball to start the third. Here's Chris Berman, Toyota halftime show. The second half here in Nashville, 7-3 Tennessee leads. Jets will get the ball. Let's see if they've got their offense in any way sorted out. Well, there wasn't a lot of good offense in that first half, but we've got one play for you. We have Chris Johnson, the second longest touchdown run in Monday Night Football history, 94 yards. Show us why it worked first.
Well, we got one highlight. We can take our time, do a good job. Your fourth-string center, Kyle DeVan, comes into the game because of an injury. Does an excellent job blocking Sione Bua. You see Harris and Bua in the same gap. Chris Johnson cuts it back off of DeVan's block. And Bart Scott can't fall back and make the tackle. And if you get Chris Johnson into the open air in a one-on-one situation against any free safety, it's over.
Chris talked to Lisa Salters on Saturday, still bragging about that 4.2 40 speed. I can pull away from anybody. Well, let's put the clock on him. In pads, in game, not running a straight line. Let's see, after he got past the line of scrimmage, how far he was able to take the 94 yards and how fast. That's a 10-8, 94 yards, not in a straight line with pads and helmet. That's real speed.
Real speed.
Yeah. Now, that's the good news. The bad news is no idea offensively. You know, John, when Tebow came in for that first full series he's had all year, felt like any momentum the Jets had was completely gone after that.
That was a bizarre series, but I do know this. The Jets' playoffs hopes are on the line, and if they want to get there, they're going to have to throw the ball better. Incomplete pass, you need a better throw. Cumberland. And then Tim Tebow just running around. They look like broken plays. It was a disaster. And I think it threw Sanchez and the Jets out of rhythm. Then Mark forces one late to Curley on the outside. It's intercepted. The Jets have 18 passing yards. And although they play great defense, I know they have a lot of injuries in their receiving core. If they don't throw the ball a little bit better, they're not going anywhere in the playoffs.
18 passing yards, 99 total yards as the Jets put up 3 first-half points. Again, a loss by the Jets to the 4-9 Titans, and the Jets will be eliminated from postseason contention. So Rob Baronis, who had a field goal blocked on the Titans' opening drive, set to kick it for Tennessee. Titans always full of special teams tricks over the years. Did a lot of work with Baronis on those this week. From 2 yards deep. Brought out by Joe McKnight. Taken down at the 27-yard line. Here's Lisa Salters.
Hey, Michael, I asked Mike Munchak if this is the kind of game he wanted, and he said kind of. He said the defense is playing really well, but we really did miss out on some opportunities. We should have a bigger lead. We got to put some points on the board, put some pressure on them. Otherwise, they can just do what they want. As for the Jets, the first thing Rex Ryan wanted to talk about was that 94-yard Chris Johnson run. He said, I've never seen anything like that, but it's Chris Johnson. He doesn't need much. He said, as for their offense, we've got to get in a rhythm. We're running the ball well. We just got to keep it going, create some opportunities for the passing game. Mike?
All right, Lisa, thank you. There's an offside on that kickoff, so it's tacked on 5 yards to the 32-yard line. Rex says he's never seen anything like it, that Chris Johnson run. Well, Jets fans have only seen one longer run against them in franchise history. That was the Garrison Hurst 96-yard run at San Francisco, that touchdown overtime to win that game, the season opener 16 years ago. Mark Sanchez starts this quarter from the 32. There's Braylon Edwards taking it out right around midfield. Second catch for Edwards.
That's a good route for Braylon Edwards. A 3-step drop by Sanchez and a 3-step slant versus a run-out technique to Braylon Edwards. Get this big receiver the ball where he can get in the north and south running position. Good call to start the second half. The Tennessee Titans loading the box to stop this ground and pound offense. They must make some plays in the passing game.
Sanchez is having to move receivers on most every play. Edwards, who's just back here on Tuesday, moved to that side where Sean Green carries, and the flag comes down as he gets to the 48-yard line.
Holding, number 87, offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
John, we talked about the pass catchers here. Conrad Ruland is playing. Dustin Keller is the tight end who's out. Keller, Curley, Stephen Hill, the wide receiver, their pick out of Georgia Tech, and Santonio Holmes, who's hurt with the foot injury. Those will be the top 4 passing options in terms of receiving. They've only played a total of 16 snaps together this year, so that's where part of this pass offense is falling apart.
Well, they played together in the preseason, and they didn't light it up when they were together.
That's true. I saw those films, too. Ruland penalized the second time tonight. So it's 1st and 20 for Sanchez. Trying to find Clyde Gates.
Derek Morgan, third-year man out of Georgia Tech. Hurt his knee as a rookie, battled back last year, and he's coming into his own as a pass rusher. They have a weak side blitz. Morgan on a stunt, came on the opposite side. Good pressure on Mark Sanchez, and once again, Sanchez looks like he's having a miserable time playing quarterback in this Jet offense.
6 of 12 for 43 yards. Looking down the seam, Wover throws Cumberland. Second interception of the night for Jason McCourty. He's got a lot of space. Been quite a week for Jason McCourty. Became a father for the first time on Friday. And here on Monday Night Football, he's bagged a couple of Sanchez passes for interceptions.
That's the reason you make quarterback changes. Errant passes down the middle in tight football games with the playoffs on the line.
Mark Sanchez, who has turned it over now 21 times this year, 15 interceptions. 2 tonight to Jason McCourty. That's the first time the former Rutgers player had a 2-interception game in his career. Jake Locker in Tennessee takes over at the Jets 46, and Chris Johnson runs for 3 yards.
Take a look at the interception. It said cover 2 invert. They're going to rotate the safety over the top, and McCourty's just going to come back to the deep half and intercept this pass. It's a play that the Jets wanted. Now, that's not Dustin Keller screaming down the seam. That's Jeff Cumberland, but the ball's clearly thrown too high down the middle, and Cumberland had no chance to play it.
Locker throws on the out, brought in. Kenny Britt taps the toes at the stripe. Looks like a first down in front of Antonio Cromartie.
That's what Jake Locker does well. He throws the ball on the move to the right extremely well. He made a couple beautiful throws last week against Indianapolis on the exact same play. They full protect his throwing side. He comes out of the pocket and throws the outside breaking route perfectly. Nice work.
First catch of the night for Britt. He's got 41 on the season. From the 36, Locker. Nice job to avoid the Sione Boua sack, and Garrett McIntyre, we call his name. He had a sack in the first half. Has been impactful on the defense for the Jets, who are playing without Brian Thomas. There's a pectoral injury.
Feel a couple times tonight like Locker gets screwed in on his primary receiver, has a hard time getting off it, and to his check down receiver. That time he's lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Second and 9, almost fumbled exchange with Johnson, who wanted a face mask as he was pulled down. And none is coming. No flag thrown as Bart Scott brings him down.
That's what Antonio Cromartie does for you. He gets up in your best receiver's face every week, and he says, I got you. Let's load the box with Jets and stop Chris Johnson. And until Jake Locker takes a shot down here to Kenny Britt, the Jets are going to continue to overload their formations. They don't want Chris Johnson to touch the ball.
Grabbed him by the ear hole, not the face mask. He didn't have a grasp of the mask and turned. 3rd and 12. Designed run with Locker, who turns it up the sideline and gets knocked out of bounds a couple of yards shy of the first down. But we have a flag back in the backfield. The Locker run got the Titans into field goal range. With this holding penalty with the line of scrimmage to 38.
Holding, number 61, offense, 10-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
And one of the things Rex Ryan does a great job of is it's the illusion of blitz. It's at the top of their playbook. They show Jake Locker an all-out blitz, and when the ball is snapped, it becomes a 3-man rush. They keep you guessing all night long. Muddy fronts, muddy coverages, and a great disguise package. Very unique football coach. Cutting-edge defensive coach.
He took that penalty. Would have been a 55-yard field goal attempt for Baronis. And Kendall Wright not touched down by a jet as he went down. Able to advance it. He gets just inside the 44. And the punting unit will come on for the Tennessee Titans.
That's the 3rd time tonight that the Tennessee Titans have squandered great field possession. It's a credit to the Jet defense. A lot of defenses get distracted when their offense struggles.
Yeah.
But what this New York Jet defense has done in the last 3 weeks, amazing, given the struggles that they've had on the other side of the football.
Brett Kern set to kick it away. And fair caught by Curley at the 11. 33 yards on the kick. Tough night for Mark Sanchez. 6 of 13. He's thrown 2 to the other guys. Jets close with San Diego and then at Buffalo. And as you saw those teams yesterday, you know that they are not playing well also. So while stretching it and thinking the Jets can win 5 in a row, the opponents are not very tough. But their offense has been tough to watch tonight. Carried by Sean Green for 3 to the 15-yard line.
Been a struggle for Mark Sanchez. Misses an open receiver. Interception late to the outside to Jeremy Curley. Then overthrows Cumberland down the middle. Another interception. Credit to the Jets defense for overcoming these turnovers, keeping them in the football game. Can Sanchez get it together here in the second half?
That is behind Marty Gilliard, and incomplete as the receiver got twisted around. So the offense has been Arizona, Jacksonville, and then tonight. And the mistakes have been plentiful for Sanchez. You think back to that Arizona game, he had 3 interceptions. So it's 5 picks, no touchdowns in the last 3 games. And 28 for 54 passing.
Best pass rush specialists the Titans have. Klug and Miller inside. Derek Morgan and Wembley on the outside. Showing blitz.
Yeah, Michael Griffin came nosing in. We both saw the same thing. Here they come. Locked up, and Sanchez finds somebody. Going up to make a play is Curley. And he's got the first down at the 27-yard line.
You know, at the beginning of this game, we said blitz pickup is going to be the winning edge for somebody. That time, Bilal Powell does a great job picking up an inside blitz and giving Sanchez an opportunity to step through a throw. And an excellent job by Curley. Outside release, break to the outside, and go get the ball. Great job of snatching the football and plucking it back to his body where he can protect the catch.
With the 5'9" receiver going up to get it. Leads the Jets in catches. Sanchez throwing for his tight end. Cumberland goes up and makes a play right around midfield.
Sanchez shows you something, doesn't he? Coming back, making 2 very good throws. One against a blitz on 3rd and 10. That time he gets a clear out. At the left side of your screen, he comes out of the fake and drops the corner route perfectly into Cumberland.
So Mark Sanchez is hot. He's rolling. He hit a couple of passes. And Tim Tebow comes in.
It's got to be hard to play quarterback.
No kidding. At the 49-yard line with a flag down and the ball out. Looks like Sean Green is the one near it for the Jets. Let's see as they umpile everybody. It's Jets ball. Gain of 1.
I just don't understand why you would take Sanchez out of the game.
Offsides. Number 79, defense. Lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Here comes Mark Sanchez back into the game. But you can't tell me that playing quarterback is easy when you're playing for the Jets. Well, they got to hurry up.
Yeah, you talk about all the time timing and rhythm in your offense. And the guy had only completed a half dozen passes. Then he completes back-to-back, and they take him out of the game. But the flag on Tennessee, their 9th of the night, helps the Jets to 1st and 5. Sanchez looking back for Cumberland again. It was late. It's incomplete. Coverage was good, too, from Jordan Babineau, the safety.
Jerry Gray continues to blitz Mark Sanchez, daring him to throw the football. Babineau, who had a couple penalties in the first half, that time does a nice job. Blitz going to be coming at the bottom of the screen. It's picked up again by Powell, and Sanchez looks for Cumberland at the top of the screen, and Babineau does a nice job undercutting the throw.
Braylon Edwards and Curley go to the left, and the backfield is empty. Sanchez, pass knocked down to the line of scrimmage by Derek Marks. Been offsides a couple of times tonight. The 4th-year man out of Auburn deflects one.
You know, when the Jets get into their empty backfield, there are no backs in the backfield. They love to throw the 3-step quick game. And you tell your defensive lineman, look, when there's no backs, Sanchez is going to take a 3-step drop, so jump, get your hands up. It's an excellent job. Keith Millard, pass rush specialist of the Tennessee Titans. His men are reading their tip sheet.
Millard, who once had 18 sacks at a defensive tackle spot, trying to set up the rush here for the defensive front. Sanchez was waiting for Curley to break free in the middle, and he had 3 Titans said, time's up. Zach Brown.
Zach Brown has rare, freakish athletic ability. Once again, Brown going to come flashing across the screen for an easy sack. Ruling the tight end blocked. Brown had him in coverage. He says, I'll go get your quarterback. And he can do it at 4.3 speed.
2 sacks for Zach tonight. 4.5 on the season. Pressure coming on. And Patrick Bailey almost got there for the Titans. Raynaud from the 12. He can get this block, make it the corner, but it was illegal. The 3 flags come down.
They got Tommy Campbell, number 37, on a hold. That one's coming back. A lot of penalties in the kicking game, Mike.
A lot of penalties tonight for Tennessee. This will be their 10th.
I saw that before Jerry Austin up here, Mike. Jerry, you've really helped me.
There are 2 fouls on the return team. Holding number 26, that penalty declined. Holding number 37 of the return team, that penalty will be accepted. 10 yards, half an inch to the goal, first down.
Well, there are some referees who would claim that you thought you had that skill many years ago. That you saw penalties before they did too. Here at LP Field, our aerial coverage from the state capital of Tennessee is brought to you by DirecTV. 1.6 million live in the metro area of Nashville, 600,000 in this city. Jake Locker and company take over from the 8. Chris Johnson has already run one 94 tonight. Couldn't get the 92 on that one. So you remember the other runs on this history, the longest runs in Monday Night Football history. Tony Dorsett, the 99 yards, as Tom Meredith famously said, 99 and a half. 1982. Then Johnson's his second. Then Bo Jackson. That's the run up the tunnel in Seattle, the 91-yarder. Those are the three longest in the history of the series. 43 years now. Mike DeVito, player, John, who's impressed you the last couple of years, just made two good back-to-back plays.
Well, he's an excellent football player. He can stuff the run, and these fans are getting restless here. Number 70, DeVito, disengages off a block, separates, finds the ball, and stuffs Chris Johnson. Jake Locker is going to have to make a couple critical plays in the passing game to win as a starting quarterback in this league. Now's the perfect time to do it.
There's a blitz, the pressure from Landry. Locker steps up, looks to take off, but he is tracked down by Quentin Coples. He gets his fourth sack of his rookie season. That's 3-and-out Tennessee.
Just don't feel like Locker's seeing much. He's off a one receiver read and he's looking to run, but Coples, number 98, just keeps contained, stays alive, and there's nowhere to throw the football. Locker not going through his progressions very well, Mike, and this Jet defense continues to hang around and set Mark Sanchez up with great field position.
Chief of Special Teams can make a play for the Jets. Brett Kern out of his own end zone. Not a good kick. It's going to be about 25 yards. It bounced out of bounds. They're going to mark it at the 35-yard line. It's generous, too. 30 yards on the punt. A bad punt in a bad game. Johnson, chairman and CEO of the Jets, convened the brain trust of the organization after the 3-6 start, trying to get everybody together to see what the plan is going forward. Mike Tannenbaum's the general manager of this team. 2 years ago, back-to-back AFC championship games, now looking at a second straight missed playoff. Where is the future and the plan of these Jets? That's a huge question.
Where are they going with this drive is a huge question, too. But I don't know, Mike. Obviously, they have to address the quarterback position. Mark Sanchez guaranteed a lot of money to come back and play next year. Are they committed to him? Are they going to trade him? What do they want to do at the quarterback position? I think it starts right there. Obviously, they have a great defensive coach, a great head coach, but they have to address what they want to do and where they want to go offensively.
It's a huge drive here at the 35. Best starting position by 15 yards tonight. And they get it in the speedy Joe McKnight's hands. And McKnight with a gain of 21 yards. Mark him at the 15, so we'll make it officially 20.
They're killing people with this play. Give Tony Sperano a lot of credit. Flo goes one way, and they're going to pull both guards to the left. But Flo starts to the right, the linebackers go to the right, and then the play cuts back, and he picks up two pulling guards. That's an excellent call by Tony Sperano. That's the play that beat the Arizona Cardinals. Back-to-back runs in the fourth quarter, and they call on it again.
Runs of 11 and 20 yards for McKnight tonight. He remains the back. Off the left side, former USC running back McKnight gets 4 yards. Ankle problems, been a story of a variety of injuries during the year for Joe McKnight.
You want to see some ground and pound. Run a double team right off your left side and pull a 325-pound 10-year vet and slam it in there for 3.5 to 4 yards. That's ground and pound Rex Ryan style. Can the Jets finish a drive with the playoffs and I should say playoff hopes on the line?
Lex Hilliard, the fullback, comes in. McKnight in the backfield, lost the football, and Sanchez falls on it at the 18.
It's unbelievable. A great play, a good play, and a horrible play. You have to assume that the pressure eventually is going to come. They're not going to just stand there and let you run the football, but you have to anticipate movement. Clearly, there's a breakdown. Brandon Moore at right guard doesn't block. Number 91, Derek Morgan, who interrupted that play.
And lost 6, John. It's 3rd and 12. The Jets in field goal range. We'll see if they remain conservative. The throw with Sanchez. Open is Cumberland for the touchdown. Tim Shaw had no recognition of Cumberland behind him. 3rd touchdown of the year. And the Jets take the lead.
All-out blitz. The Titans bring everybody, and Tim Shaw, who's filling in for Colin McCarthy, has perfect coverage on Cumberland. It's an all-out blitz, and clearly Sanchez trusts that Cumberland's going to make the play, but when you play backup players, there's a good chance it's going to haunt you at the end of football games.
Mitchell McCarthy is the second-year linebacker. He's missing his third consecutive game with a concussion. Shaw, the special teams captain, has taken that spot. Blew the coverage there. Sanchez throws the touchdown to Jeff Cumberland. And the Jets have taken the lead. Well, the simplified AFC playoff picture is 4 teams have clinched their spots already. Houston, Denver, New England, Baltimore, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh remain in control of their own destiny. The Jets need help, but need to win games. They need to win them all. If they lose tonight, they are eliminated. On the run from the goal line, here comes Reynard. Darius Reynard, finally brought down by Jeremiah Bell, the starting safety, at the 36-yard line.
Oh, the blitz continues to get after Jake Locker, and it's unconventional blitzes. 3 different defenders at the top of the screen. They drop the defensive end at the bottom of the screen. They play man-to-man coverage. It's confusing your protection. It's a muddy coverage with a great disguise. They bring 4 at the bottom of the screen. They drop the end at the top. Jake Locker's confused. It's critical right now that Jake Locker makes a couple plays in this Tennessee Titan pass offense. They've been awfully conservative running the ball.
Locker 9 of 14 passing tonight. Looking right side, looking deep toward Nate Washington. But incomplete as he was hit by Quentin Coples as he threw the ball. But John, you showed all that blitz pressure. Let's just talk about what the Jets defense has done this year. When they've seen inexperienced quarterbacks, first or second year in the NFL, the completion percentage is below 50. The mistakes come a little bit more often. But more veteran quarterbacks they've played have really done a good job against this defense. Perhaps they've seen it before. They understand it a bit better. Handle the pressures. The young quarterbacks have struggled mightily. That's what we've seen the last 2 weeks with Arizona and Jacksonville. Pass on the run by Locker is caught, and open is Michael Preston. To the 42. It's his second catch of the night, and a gain of 22.
Run through blitz. The van to center picks it up, and once again the Heidelberg student Prince runs a comeback. Internal blitz, the center handles it. Locker's out clean to his right. Ball's thrown perfectly to Preston, who did an excellent job in a one-on-one situation, beating Kyle Wilson. Throw another play-action pass.
43, they'll give it to Johnson. Got to the edge. And get about 3 yards as Cromartie ends up knocking him out of bounds.
Tennessee Titans have been in a lot of crazy games here at home this year, Mike. They've been blown out a couple times. They've squandered ball games. They have a new offensive coordinator, a young quarterback, a 4th-string center. Somehow, some way, they got to find the right play and execute it.
Kyle DeVan had to come in earlier tonight. And Kevin Matthews got hurt. Locker throws to Washington with the catch. It's a good-looking drive. And a gain of 12 at Kyle Wilson, the tackle. Hey, John, I noticed watching Tennessee the last 3 or 4 weeks, when Locker hits 1 or 2, his confidence builds. He gets on that back foot and throws it.
Good 5-step one-hitch rhythm. Ball's thrown with good timing, good zip, good location. And that's what they told us here, Mike. When Locker's in rhythm and throwing the ball confidently, he can really throw it nicely. And right now, he's done a nice job these last 2 throws.
28, out of the pocket, throws complete yet again. And Kendall Wright worked the sideline inside the 15-yard line. That's part of playing fast, and Matt Hasselbeck is someone who's really helped ingrain that. Veteran quarterback, started the Super Bowl for Seattle. Did well as a starter last year, won 2 games this year when Locker was out with injury. He's such an important influence on Locker, and one of those things is playing fast and tempo.
Great mentor to have, 37 years old. Great player.
Chris Johnson running as Tennessee has it inside the red zone. And you have to admire Hasselbeck, John. He could be playing on this team. Their record might be better if Hasselbeck was playing instead of the growing pains of Locker learning.
Well, he won a couple games clearly this year for the Titans. I like the fact he shares his knowledge with Locker. And he's going to need to share some of that knowledge here, because Jake Locker has struggled throwing the football in a red zone. And it's the hardest place there is to throw it. The windows are tight. Everything happens faster, and the defenses are different.
Second and 8, in trouble getting it. This is a design run for Locker. Inside the 5, Locker in. Touchdown, Tennessee Titans.
That's the exact play that Colin Kaepernick of the San Francisco 49ers thrashed the Jets with in the Meadowlands. Bunch formation. It's going to be a bunch crunch with Chris Johnson leading it, and Jake Locker is going to run behind 4 different Tennessee Titans. They pulled Michael Roos, their Pro Bowl tackle. You got to credit Chris Johnson with the kick-out block. And Jake Locker, you think this is a quarterback or a running back playing quarterback? What a great effort.
First rushing touchdown of the season. He had one last year as well. Baronis adds the extra points, and Jake Locker 3 of 4 on the drive. And then the 13-yard touchdown run, and some offense is broken out here.
I like it. When you have a quarterback that's an athlete, you can design some direct runs. And you saw what Colin Kaepernick did last night again, but look what he did against the Jets earlier in the season. He ran a read option, really made the Jets pay. And down in the scoring zone, here it is, the exact same play, the bunch crunch. Direct snap to the quarterback. Frank Gore led it. You got to credit this Tennessee Titans staff. They're 4-9. They're playing with 4 different starters in their offensive line out, and their 4th-string center, Jake Locker. Excellent play, but they're pulling some ideas out of what they saw earlier, and Jake Locker gives you an opportunity to run some of these direct runs.
But isn't that the beauty of football, and why you guys as coaches are 3:30, 3:45, well, maybe that's just you, watching tape? Because if it worked against this team once before, there's always a chance we can come back and use it against you again.
Hey, if there's $20 bills spitting out of that teller, I'm going to go get some of that.
Go right back to the ATM.
If it worked against the Jets, I'm putting it in and running it. Yep. You're darn right. That's been going on for years. But what a heck of a drive. You love to see an offense answer another offense's touchdown drive with one of their own. That's a great confidence builder if you're a Titan fan, and it's obviously a great confidence builder for Jake Locker against a very good defense.
You get to see a little bit of that unique athleticism that he has, that people were raving about him in the draft, and the Titans took him at the number 8 spot out of Washington. Drive Baronis kick from a yard deep. McKnight. So McKnight trying to get the edge. The 29-yard line.
I look down on the field. There's a young offensive coordinator, Dow Loggins. You see Tom Moore, 74-year-old, former coordinator of the Indianapolis Colts. Matt Hasselbeck's down there. I mean, how about all the information he's getting? Tom Moore, Hasselbeck, Coach Loggins. He's in good hands down there. See what this Tennessee Titan defense is made of.
Sanchez off the touchdown last drive after a struggle in most of his first and second quarter, and a spinning run by Bilal Powell. He'll take it to the 25 and will take us to the 4th quarter. Each team a touchdown in the 3rd. Off we go to the 4th. Tennessee by 4. Mike Munchak's team trying to knock the Jets out of the playoffs on Monday Night Football. 14-10 Tennessee. Off we go to the fourth quarter. Mike Tirico, John Gruden, Lisa Salters, and our Monday Night Football crew here in Nashville. 2nd and 4 with Sanchez. Bilal Powell working this drive. It will be 3rd and 2 coming up for New York.
That's really good penetration by Jarrell Casey. Casey's limping off the field. Made a nice effort play to chase that down on the backside. Man-to-man situation for the Titan defense. Jets like their bunch formations. Try to create some confusion in the route. Three of them.
Yeah, Zach Brown's made a couple of big plays on 3rd downs. 55 for Tennessee. It's 3rd and 2. And this play is blown.
False start, number 63, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
That's Jason Smith, who was once the 2nd overall pick by St. Louis and did not work out there. They traded Wayne Hunter to get Smith at the end of the season.
See him at the top of your screen. He's going to flinch early. Critical penalty.
He was in there as the extra offensive lineman on that play, and now back to the bench as it's 3rd and 7.
Ayers at the bottom of the screen, number 56, their best pass rusher. Let's see if he can get after Ferguson when they need him the most.
Clock running down. Sanchez trying to get the snap quick. Timeout. Got the timeout first. He come off a false start penalty.
First team timeout. Jets.
And can't get the play off in time. So the timeout called by Sanchez. 70 seconds into the fourth quarter. Out of the timeout, here are the Jets, 3rd and 7. Pressure coming. Sanchez down. Sacked again.
Boy, Jerry Gray, the defensive coordinator of the Tennessee Titans, bringing a lot of pressure. That time it's Griffin and his friends again storming off the left side. You're going to see Griffin come down late off your left side, and they create some one-on-one situations, and Akeem Ayers. The old green dog blitz. I'll cover the tight end until he blocks, and if he blocks, I'm going to go get the quarterback. That time he did a great job.
The 3rd and 2 penalty on the Jets. Jason Smith cost them significantly there. And the punts from right to left as you watch into the wind. That's holding them up a bit. Not a great kick from Robert Malone. And Tennessee will take over at its own 32. Last play was a touchdown run by Jake Locker.
How about the blocking? Just take a look at left tackle Michael Roos, Chris Johnson. Michael Roos is 320 pounds. How athletic is he? He gets Jeremiah Bell at the 7-yard line. He sustains that block 5 yards deep in the end zone. Kyle DeVan, the center, comes out and chops down Bart Scott. Beautiful execution.
And you saw Chris Johnson, too, take care of Ellis Langster. Johnson had the 94-yard run earlier. Locker shot downfield. Hold up in the air. And did Landry catch it? Nope, it hit the ground. Incomplete. Kenny Britt went up for the ball. Kendall Wright, I should say, and he's come down shaken up. So has Cromartie. So a couple of players injured as they went up battling for the ball.
Antonio Cromartie. Great hang time, and let's just hope everybody's okay, but Wright is still down.
Timeout. Kendall Wright shaken up, walked off under his own power, but was groggy as he got to the bench. The Titans medical staff looks at him as Chris Johnson gets hit hard after a gain of 3. Let's go back to the injury and the coverage here by Cromartie.
Good coverage down the field. This ball's thrown in a different zip code. Not a good decision that time by Jake. He had Quinn Johnson wide open in the flat. 3rd down and 7. Jets have brought a lot of exotic pressures tonight in this long yardage situation.
Michael Preston again in at wide receiver, covered by Cromartie at the top of the screen. Jets, here's the pressure. Straight through, untouched. Jeremiah Bell, first sack of the season. As you called, John, that's the down Rex Ryan lives for.
I don't know where he comes up with these ideas. Mike Pettin, the defensive coordinator, Bob Sutton, the linebacker, Coach, you're going to see Jeremiah Bell show up late to your right. It's like he got dropped out of an airplane, Mike, and showed up from nowhere. But a great disguise. They rotate late. And Jeremiah Bell, at 34 years old, continues to play good, solid football.
So Brett Kern again. Flags down, 2 of them. As Kern's kick is fair, caught again by Curley. 43 yards on the kick. Let's see what Walt Coleman and company have. Mike Westhoff, the special teams coach for the Jets, who's retiring at the end of this season. 2 great special teams coaches in this game. Alan Lowry on the opposite side with Tennessee.
Boy, you're not kidding. These two.
Holding number 38 of the kicking team. That 10-yard penalty will be added on to the end of the play. First down.
These two special teams coaches have changed a lot of games and a lot of schemes over the years. There's the Music City Miracle coach, Alan Lowry, 14 years he's been here. Former 49er staff. And Mike Westhoff, he coached with the great Don Shula. Pro game will miss Mike Westhoff.
So the tack onto that penalty, John, the 10 yards, gives the Jets decent field position at their own 39. Down by 4 after big struggles in the second and third quarter. Mark Sanchez, in the middle of that quarter, came up with a decent drive that finished in the Jeff Cumberland touchdown. First down, Sanchez throws high over the middle to a wide open Sean Green, and it's incomplete.
These are plays you have to make. Ferguson does a great job against Wembley. Sanchez steps up and just slide your feet and make this easy check down to Sean Green for a minimal gain, but it'll be 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5. These are throws that the Jets have to make. They don't use their backs much in the passing game, and I think it's a real problem. They miss LaDainian Tomlinson in that role.
Not winning many fantasy leagues with the number Sanchez has put up the last 3 weeks. 2nd and 10, incomplete for Conrad Rulin, the tight end. But again, the Jets know this. They know what they are. They are ground and pound, that tired phrase, if you will, which is really translation for we're conservative. We don't trust our quarterback to make a bunch of plays because he doesn't have a lot of guys to make those plays.
And they've struggled to pick up blitzes tonight. Now let's see what Jerry Gray, the defensive coordinator, does here. He full blitz Sanchez in 3rd and 10 in the red zone when Mark did throw the 1 touchdown pass, but he's been very active with a lot of heat in predictable 3rd down and long situations. Here they come again at the top of the screen.
Half dozen coming. Picked up. Sanchez, the throw is complete, but it's short of the first down to the tight end Cumberland. 2 yards short.
Like to see Cumberland know where the stakes are and push that route to the marker. But he's going to be clearly short. It's going to be a pivot right over his inside shoulder. He bursts and turns and catches it at 8 yards. I'd like to see him push that thing another yard or so.
The Jets have run fakes out of this formation in 4th and short a few times with Tim Tebow as the personal protector. He is not in this situation. And Robert Malone's going to kick it away anyway. Very high, tough to catch. Good job by Reynaud. The wind is picked up a little bit. It's gusting. That one was a tough one. Darius Reynaud brought it down. Just a 29-yard kick. We're in the AFC. 4 spots are taken in the tournament. Houston, Denver, New England, Baltimore. The Colts and Bengals hold the wild card spots for now. Jets are trying to tie the Steelers, get within a game of that final wild card spot. Blocker floating it out to Craig Stevens, his tight end. First down for the 5th-year man out of Cal at the 35-yard line.
The Jets continue to stem their defensive line. They line up one way, and right before the ball is snapped, they all move together. That time they jump into the old-fashioned Bear defense. They continue to cover the center and both guards. They're trying to mismatch the young offensive line, the backup players of the Titans. Good call that time, moving the pocket.
First down, a little read and a give to Chris Johnson, who fights hard to get a yard plus. This could be coming back for another Deuce Latui penalty.
Oh, Stevens,
Holding,
88.
number 72, offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
It's going to be hard to run. The Jets continue to stem the defensive line. They're going to cover the center and both guards, and you're going to see the holding call right here on the right guard, Deuce Latui. I thought they got tight end, number 88, Craig Stevens. But clearly Latui tackles DeVito.
I'll give you. You could have had Stevens also. I'll give that to you.
Stevens held too. They all held that.
I thought I had you there on that one, but hey, there have been a lot of options tonight for Tennessee. 12 flags, 14 points. First and 20, Locker throws. Oh, Cromartie almost had a chance to grab on and go.
Bart Scott comes screaming into the A gap on a blitz. Titans picked it up. Locker needs to make this throw, but you're going to see blitzing linebacker right there in the A gap. Picked up by Kyle Devan at center, and ball's thrown high. Cromartie almost with an interception. Bart Scott done it well for a long time.
You mentioned playing with a modified shoe because of turf toe. Through a lot of pain. Design run with Locker. He's going to get hit hard here by Scott. Just a gain of 4 yards. Been a very interesting season with Bart. Media boycott. Angry at the fans. The halftime of that Thanksgiving debacle against the Patriots. Very candid this week. Said we don't deserve or warrant the right to speak about the playoffs at this point.
I coached a guy, Sterling Sharp, who had a terrible turf toe injury. He's wearing a 13.5 shoe. He normally wears a size 12 because of the swelling. What he's gone through to play is amazing. He is a tough, old-school throwback ball player. I'd love to have coached him. Here they come.
3rd and long. Jets show pressure, then they drop 8 in coverage, and Locker throws. Oh, and he was open too. Lavelle Hawkins was available for the first down, despite the 8 in coverage.
Excuse me, Mike. Those are the throws that Jake Locker's got to make. He's had his accuracy questioned in the past. It's an illusion of blitz. They're showing blitz. They're going to bail out of there. It's a 3-man rush. You got plenty of time to set your feet and throw the ball accurately. You got to make those throws with the game on the line.
They're double the gunner at the bottom of the screen to the right of this formation. See if the Jets get a return that way. Curley will not fair catch this one. Picks it up to 16. And he returns it to the 23-yard line. After that brief surge of offense with back-to-back touchdowns, we're back to earlier action.
What's up, Stuart Scott with you. Sports Center after the game, the GMC postgame report. Highlights and analysis of the Jets trying to keep their playoff chances alive. Top plays from the NFL in Week 15. Maybe something from this game is in it. Maybe. And Jeremy Lin makes his return to Madison Square Garden. All that coming up, Mike.
All right, Stuart, thank you. Great to have you with us here in Nashville tonight, pal. 1st and 10 for the Jets. Going into a big wind. The 23, it's Sean Green. He got it out to the 28-yard line.
That's that run again, Mike. They keep running this crazy scheme of Tony Sperano where the flow starts one way and they're going to pull both guards. It hit big in the 3rd quarter, and it almost comes out again. McKnight hit that in the 3rd quarter. He had the track speed to get up in that hole, but a nice first down run. Creative scheme. Give Sperano credit. He's got them all in his book.
The 18, again a run. Here he is up the middle, and the first down for Sean Green. Just past the 23-yard line. A couple of drives left here for the Jets. Inside of 8 minutes, down 4. Needing to win to keep their playoff hopes alive. The best scenario for the Jets, the easiest one to understand, is win these 3 games against Tennessee, San Diego, and at Buffalo. See Cincinnati lose to Pittsburgh, and then both of those teams lose in Week 17. That's the simplest way to get your arms around how this poor Jets team could find a way in. Now a pass with Sanchez. Looking downfield towards Braylon Edwards. Look out. It's intercepted. Michael Griffin has his second of the year. At midfield, Griffin on the return. Flag down on the return as he's tackled at the 36. And Sanchez is intercepted for the third time tonight.
One thing Michael Griffin can do, he can cover grass. It's a strong side blitz. It's one-on-one coverage on the outside. I don't think Sanchez ever saw Griffin. He rolled over the top of that, almost fair caught it.
After the interception on the return team, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Blitz is picked up off of Sanchez's left side, and he's going to throw it to the top of your screen. You watch free safety Michael Griffin just blur the screen and intercept this ball with ease. Ill-advised throw, and the third interception by Mark Sanchez. Sometimes you fall in love with your favorite targets, and Mark admitted last night he forced the ball to Dustin Keller in some red zone situations, and I just got the feeling he's so happy to see Edwards with the game on the line, he might have forced that one there when it wasn't open.
And they are going into a wind that is picked up. I mentioned it has stiffened in the last 30 minutes or so, going right to left. Chris Johnson carries to the 44-yard line.
And Chris Johnson, outside of that one long run, he hasn't done much tonight, but just watch the range of free safety Michael Griffin. Mark is late. Telegraphed that throw to Edwards, and any good free safety in this level is going to pick your pocket.
You mentioned Chris Johnson, 16 carries for 20 yards beside the 94-yard home run. The Jets defense has mostly done the job tonight. There's Sanchez, 3 interceptions, 16 on the season. A season that has been full of changing cast, not the people they plan to have around them, but as we said, what's the direction for the Jets in the future? It's hard to tell. Mark Sanchez has a lot of money due, $8.25 million next year because of the contract extension that happened once the Jets checked in on Peyton Manning, and Peyton said thanks, but I'll go to Denver. They got back, nobody moved, so no flag, 3rd and 5. Locker trying to get around the edge, using the speed, tries to dive forward. That mark is a yard short of the first down and out of bounds at 5:49.
Interesting situation for Mike Munchak, but what a great effort by Muhammad Wilkerson. You want to see a 305-pound athlete flash? Number 96 comes out of the pile and does everything he can to knock Jake Locker out of bounds, just shy of the first down.
You saw there on the replay, he should probably be marked back a bit because he stepped out of bounds well before that jump and stretch, and then he almost took out his cornerback, Jason McCourty. It's the 9th punt of the night for Brett Curry. Caught by Curley at the 7.
Mike Munchak showing a lot of confidence in his defense. Had great field position there after the interception. 2 inside runs to Chris Johnson, gained nothing. And then a designed quarterback run to Locker. Showing a lot of confidence in his defense, or you could say a lack of confidence in his young quarterback and young offensive line with the game at stake.
3 turnovers tonight. Sanchez one shy of Andrew Luck, who has the most. Phillip Rivers also has had a fumble-filled season. But here are the Jets starting this drive and not getting the right personnel out there. Now they get the 11 as the play clock has started.
Big Vlad Dukas has checked in at left guard for Matt Slauson. A lot of role players.
They've been rotating those players throughout the season. 5:20 left. Sanchez starts underneath with Sean Green. A couple of Titans tackle him. Forward progress will get him out to the 12-yard line.
Boy, DeBrickashaw Ferguson, the left tackle, is doing a great job against Cameron Wembley. Wembley hasn't gotten close to Sanchez without a blitz, but the former Pro Bowl left tackle is getting it done against Cameron Wembley. Big free agent acquisition of the Titans. You can't pass block any better than that.
Green first down and more. Sean Green to the 28-yard line. Altaron Werner hanging on for the ride.
This Sean Green, when it gets to be the fourth quarter, people get tired of seeing him. Let's see if we can listen to this full speed if you want to be a free safety. Watch him rip this thing right up in there and arrive on contact. Good blocking up front by the Jets. Weak side isolation. Hard running Sean Green. I like that.
Sanchez looking for Braylon Edwards, who's got it at the 45-yard line. And he'll be stopped there. So these guys just reuniting back on Tuesday when Edwards was signed. Only a couple of practices this week. Hooking up in the big spot.
What a catch by Edwards. Mark Sanchez comes out of the play-action pass and throws this ball before Edwards turns. This ball's going to get in on him. What an excellent job of finding the ball in its flight and making a beautiful reaction to glove it. That's hard to do, especially when you just got here 3 days ago.
Toss Green. There's a lot of blockers. Just across midfield to the 49-yard line. John, the way this drive is going, we get around 3 minutes. This could be the last opportunity for the Jets.
Nice audible by Mark Sanchez. You hear him killing it. He's calling 2 plays in the huddle. If he doesn't like the play that's called, he yells out, kill, 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 and he activates the second call. That time it was a bunch, crunch, toss play. Well executed.
In Titans territory at the 49, Sanchez. Looking and throw as receiver slipped coming out of the break. It was Marty Gilliard. And it's incomplete with 2:38 to go. So the wins were ugly, but they came against Jacksonville and against Arizona, the first back-to-back wins of the season. And Braylon Edwards reacquired because Stephen Hill got hurt. Some old faces come back. And this ever-changing cast, and now the Jets down to their final few plays to try to keep these very faint playoff hopes alive.
No doubt they're in 4-down territory. Bunch formation. They're going to try to generate a pick play at the bottom of the screen.
Sanchez with the pressure on, gets rid of it. Had to dump it off because he was about to get hit, and he got hit by 3 Titans with a flag. No flag, but yeah, there's a flag right by Sanchez.
Personal foul, rubbing the passer, hit the quarterback in the head. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Take a look at it at real speed. Similar penalty that Julius Peppers had called on him yesterday. Boy, I'll tell you. I don't understand that call.
Well, that crown of the helmet hits him in the face mask.
This guy right here.
Yep, there you go. Will Witherspoon, 92, Jerry Austin.
92 comes in. It's not the first guy in there. The second guy in lowers his head, goes right up under the chin into the helmet of the quarterback.
Correct call?
Correct call. It'll be called every time.
14th penalty on the Titans. Sanchez pumping. On the move, making it up. Getting out of bounds with 2:26 to go.
Plenty of time left. Nice job by Sanchez. He's got better athletic ability than people give him credit for. Crowd's not happy, but in hindsight, if you get near the quarterback's headgear, it's going to be called. The Titans need to regain their composure. They need one stop. And the New York Jets are in 4-down territory.
Sanchez was jumping out of the huddle, so they did not have a substitution infraction. The Jets have such a problem getting the right people in the game. It's hard to watch an NFL team struggle with the most basic concept. 2:25 to go. Sanchez has to check it. A job in the open field by Bilal Powell, made 3 moves to get the first down at the 23. And Sanchez slow to get up.
They are hammering Mark Sanchez. That's a great play by Mark Sanchez, having the presence to find Powell in his right flat. He's under serious pressure. Scrambles to his right, and Powell does a lot for him after the catch.
at the 2-minute warning. Jets trying to drive and save their playoff hopes. Jets 23 yards away from trying to take the lead. As Rex Ryan, who took his team to the AFC Championship game his first 2 years. In the last 2 seasons, a game under 500 and missing the playoffs. Last year was 8-8. They lost their last 3 to the Eagles. The game against the Giants, return on the big Victor Cruz touchdown, and against Miami to close as the Jets were eliminated.
Plenty of time to run the football.
Go play action here on first down. Sanchez double clutches, throws end zone in traffic. Intercepted by Griffin. Down at the 2.
I just can't stand, for the life of me, understand why Mark threw that ball. As good as he competed in that possession to end it with his 4th interception is just hard for me to believe. Late down the middle, telegraphing throws, and the former Pro Bowler Michael Griffin just reads them like a book. Going to fake the ball to your left side, come out and look late down the middle, and it's a prayer.
And with 2 timeouts and 1:51 left, the game is not over. The Jets, if they can get a stop, have a chance to get the ball back with about 3/4 of a minute left. But Mark Sanchez, who had a 4 and a 5 interception game in his rookie season, has thrown 4 here tonight. From the 2, they just give to Quinn Johnson, the fullback, who gets no yards. The Jets immediately stop it at 1:45.
Well, the Jets are going to jump into this 46 Bear defense and congest all of these running lanes. It'll be interesting to see if Mike Munchak moves the pocket one time with his young quarterback and tries to throw the football. But I would not be handing it to Quinn Johnson in this situation.
Would you even risk throwing the ball down here?
Well, I wouldn't be handing it to Quinn Johnson.
Got them off the goal line. Last 2 Jets possessions have ended in interceptions. Walker gives to Johnson, who's been bottled up most of the night. Got pinballed back towards his own goal line and is tackled. And the Jets take the timeout. Minute 39 left with 3rd down coming up.
And this is where Mike Westhoff, the special teams coach of the Jets, is considering 2 things. Do I come for the all-out block, or do I work my hold-up and try to set up a return? Once again, you see Mark Sanchez reviewing the last couple plays of the ball game, but you have to assume that a kicking play is going to follow this one right here. Be interesting to see if the Jets choose to come after the punter or play for the return.
GMC postgame coming up on SportsCenter as soon as we are done. It is 3rd down. The Jets are out of timeouts. You'd expect Tennessee to keep it on the ground. They do with Johnson. There's his carry. Down to the, up to the 5, I should say. And now it'll run with the play clock spinning as well. A quick math, and the Jets should see that 4th down play come off with about 52 seconds left. See if Tennessee runs it all the way down and takes the timeout before the punt. And Mike Munchak, the Hall of Fame offensive lineman, the head coach of the Titans, right next to an official. So as that play clock winds down, he'll call the timeout.
Jets are going to have time, Mike, to execute a few plays. See big Muhammad Wilkerson still out there in the huddle. They like sending big bodies at the punter. And Wilkerson's the biggest, best athlete on this football team.
Now, earlier you saw Brett Kern punt that was short. That was into the wind. This is the wind at his back. This is the last game of Week 15. Then we start Week 16. No Monday night game on Christmas Eve. Will be Saturday night in Detroit. Calvin Johnson trying to get that yardage record of Jerry Rice's. But Matt Ryan and the Falcons, the headline, trying to get the #1 seed with a win. Monday Night Football. See you from downtown Detroit on Saturday. 8:30 Eastern, the kick.
Copels and Wilkerson. Left side of your screen.
Brett Kern will kick out of his own end zone. Oh, it's off the side of his foot. A terrible punt forced by the pressure that came on Kern. They come to mark it, John, all the way up as the official looks back to the referee to get a mark at the 25-yard line. Jeremiah Bell, Antonio Allen, I think, might have gotten in there.
Well, they put big people in the middle. Copels, right side of your screen, and Wilkerson. And you see right up the middle from Antonio Allen, a rookie from South Carolina. But you focus your attention on the big guys and you send heat on the opposite side, and it gets home.
And what they did was they sent Alan Lowry, sent the punt protection over to the right, knowing he was going to kick that way, to be able to directionally kick it away. Here's an unbelievable opportunity. In an ugly game, only fitting that a 19-yard punt sets up the Jets at the 25. Low snap, kicked around, on the ground. That's the way this game should end. That's the way the Jets season should end. Ugly and a loss.
5 turnovers, squandered opportunities, mismanaged situations. It's not a playoff offense. Pro Bowl center. You have a quarterback that's been here 4 years, and the shotgun snap gets botched. Amazing night of futility for the Jets offense.
It's unbelievable. It's really incredible. So Jake Locker will get his 3rd NFL win. The Jets will be eliminated from postseason contention. Miami still mathematically alive at 6-8. The last 3 possessions for the Jets end up with 2 interceptions and the fumble on the snap.
This will be hard to get over if you're a member of the Jets.
Again, the Jets defense gave up that one long run, the 94-yard run by Chris Johnson, the highlight. And this incredible season of mistakes by the Jets will end in a 2nd consecutive year not going to the playoffs. Tennessee 14, the Jets 10. With John Gruden, Lisa Salters, our entire ESPN team, Mike Tirico. Good night from Nashville. Remember, we'll see you Saturday night to start Week 16 with the Lions and the Falcons. This has been a presentation of ESPN. So is SportsCenter, which starts next.